Now I know I'm dating myself, but remember that Fleetwood Mac album Rumors where every song was a hit? Every track got radio play from Don't Stop to The Chain to Gold Dust Woman. Well, the stories of Breece Pancake are just like that album. There's not a B-side in the bunch. The first story, Trilobites, is always cited by reviewers as the collection's best. Kind of like the way More Than a Feeling opened Boston's debut album in 1976. And as much as I like Trilobites and every other story in the collection, there's another one that for me tops them all. It is In the Dry, number 11 in the table of contents, stuck right where the DJ never drops the needle. It is not only my favorite story in the book, but my gold standard for what all literature should look like. Each word seems precisely set into place with no room for another. It's less a prose poem than a polished look at some tarnished West Virginia lives. In honor of its writing, I am out here at my local golf course at the Lawrenceville School, and I dare say that for all the roots I've put down in this town, a few of them run right underneath this fairway. I am here because when Pancake wrote In the Dry in the summer of 1977, he was working as a short order cook at the Penn Park Golf Course in Charlottesville, Virginia, a public 9-hole course that attracted some pretty disreputable characters. According to Pancake, one customer described to him how he, quote, tried to tear his wife's jaw off, unquote. Not your typical golfer by any stretch, but apparently Charlottesville did not require background checks in order to book a tee time. Just imagine Pancake behind a hot grill 6 days a week, turning sentences over in his head while burger grease hissed into the flames. No wonder he wrote like this. August seems early for hills to rust with dying trees, early for embankments to show patches of pale clay between milkweed and thistle. All is ripe for fire. And Pancake had reason to feel good that summer. He had just been received into the Catholic Church after months of serious preparation, and the Atlantic Monthly, one of the nation's oldest and most prestigious magazines, had just bought Trilobites for $750. Pretty convincing evidence that things were looking up. Still, he looked not up, but inward when he sat down at his typewriter that June to start a new story. Pancake was the perennial outsider, never fitting into his hometown because of his strange artistic sensibilities, and adapting no better at UVA, where among the graduate students at Wilson Hall, he carried his hillbilly bona fides almost as an act of defiance. All these feelings he wrote into In the Dry, the story of an orphan named Otto, all grown up, driving a truck, and visiting his foster family while making a run to the local mill. They are having a cookout, the yard full of extended family, and Otto feels like a stranger in a place that was once his home. Pancake turns the orphan into a kind of stand-in for the artist, someone born to observe the circle, but never quite able to stand inside it. I am going to focus on 4 passages in the story that reveal how Pancake uses a simple recurring phrase to show how the artist draws a distinction between himself and the crowd. It is so understated that anyone reading the story for the first time would scarcely notice it. So quietly does Pancake tuck it in among far more arresting images. And here is its first appearance. As he tries to find the first thing to turn them all this way, the pieces of broken life fall into his mind, and they fall without the days or nights to mend them. Turn them all this way, vague and unremarkable, something the reader would gloss over without giving it a second thought. Nor does this next passage tip the reader off, so slyly does Pancake slip the phrase into the sentence. One wasp reels, circles, butts beat its ceiling, and Adi watches the brown wings flash over bright yellow bands and knows he can pack his grip, be in Columbus by midnight. He lights another cigarette, wonders if being with Sheila that day has turned them. Once again, Pancake hides the phrase in plain sight, withholding any context to explain what turn them refers to. The third time is not the charm, but a deepening of the riddle. One by one, he picks up the fallen leaves nearest him, gathers them to himself with the years of hurried life. Feeling the crinkled edges of a scorched leaf, he sees, in the last of light, color still splotching its skin. Everything is so far away, so buried, and he knows more than any buckskull turn them all. Only at the end does Pancake alter the phrase enough to drive home a point that, while still elusive, is finally comprehensible. He steps into his room, strips off the white rag and leaves it lying on the bed. He packs his grip with a razor, soap, and comb, all the things he brought. Pulling on a clean t-shirt, he zips shut the grip and carries it into the hall. Sheila's door is closed, and Adi knows what turned them all will spin them forever. Pancake has been so coy with that phrase, giving us only fragments. Turn them all, turn them all this way. Then he lowers the boom. What turned them all will spin them forever. A verdict that illuminates all that came before. Pancake has set down a trail that we didn't even know we were following, and prepares the stage for Adi's final exit, though hardly in light of what he leaves behind, his deliverance. Outside, the yard is empty, dark. He climbs the ladder into the semi's cab and tries to remember a wide spot by the mill, a place to pull over. The ignition bell rings out and gears, 10 through forward, strain to wind into another night, an awful noise.